switches for the lines without Barkov moving forward, some combination you've seen before, but that third line you got running right now with Rodriguez, both his two centers like they have, but the speed of that line may be faster than we're used to for this team. What excites you about the potential of those three should they play together?
I'm hoping that becomes a chemistry line. It's not going to be the heaviest. They're all fast. They can play fast. And we started to see it today. There's some really good, they're just going to look, our lines, well, they usually in general look a little bit different. We adhere to the same rules defensively, and then offensively we're just going to look a little bit different because of personnel. But there's some speed and chaos that they can create. Evan Rodriguez is elite at sensing a change of possession and killing the play. He's just fantastic at it. And both Samo, even as a young man, has developed a work ethic. He's got a great motor on him. Bo's always been that guy. So their style will be different. Systems will be the same. We think that speed can be a real good thing for them.
And with Evan, I mean, how nice is it as a coach that there's no pay that he goes, there's no pay.
Yeah.
He can play anywhere at any.
Such the value of spending time with a player. You get to learn what they're. It's not an easy thing to do what he does, right? And the harder one even is he's gone from Barkov's line in Game 7 to the fourth line the next year. He did a marvelous job in not letting it affect his game. But what he did is he got back to his roots a little bit, and then he brought it back in. So what I admire the most about him, and I'm going to say this is true on a number of players, they're not 22 anymore, but they're still trying to get better, and they're still trying to add things to their game. They come to the rink to get better, and he's a better player now than when we first got him. And I'm giving him that. I'm not saying that we've made him better. I think he's worked really hard and learned, and he's a better player.
And you saw those three play together a little bit last year
Yeah.
at certain times, I think early in the year too. What did you like what you saw out of them? Is that why you reunited them, or is this more just a necessity thing?
It was, some of it came off of, we were allowed to leave the structure of the other two lines because we were interested in what they could do, what Roddy's saying. So a year in a young player's life like Mackie Semis gave, which is huge. Just in how he moves in practice, how he interacts with everybody. He's one of them now. He was all last year. He played all those games. So he's just a veteran Panther now, and he's playing his own game. I haven't had to blow the whistle much in drill because the structure's there and they're all doing it right. There's not a lot of, hey, we don't do that. They've got that part down. For a young player, then you can put all your focus and your energy into the handful of things that we're trying to do every time we either touch the puck or we defend the puck. So you get to see more energy, more jump out of Samo. Yeah, hey, look, there isn't a line we've got out there we're leaving all year. It just never, ever happens. I just want to see it in those two exhibition games they play. I'll probably play Rodriguez's line versus Carolina at home. Get them 3 games together, get a look at that. And then we'll start the journey.
You also don't emphasize Rodriguez's character, just his willingness to play wherever. What stands out to you in that part?
It's effectiveness, actually. So, but in terms of the character, he's really a team-first guy. And I think Roddy just feels he's found his place here. His personality fits here. He's in the mix of all kind of joking around. But to go to the character part, I'll go back to what I had said to George. You get moved from the first line in Game 7 to the final to the fourth line. You normally have a whole lot of dust-ups with those guys. They just sulk. They just do. And I would understand it. Like, I wouldn't even be mad at a guy if he was pouting on the fourth line. But he didn't give you any of that. And if he got moved down the lineup, he just kind of snarled and played a little harder, played a little quicker. That's a statement of who you are as a person. That has nothing to do with coaching or that's him. That's his character. So now he's built a career on that. So he can play all 3 forward positions, all 4 lines. And wherever he goes, the guys are excited about playing with him. Right? They're like, I'm very, very fortunate here. Doesn't really matter what the lines are. There's a friend on their lines. Like, they like each other. But there are people that don't have chemistry together, and if we have that, or they think they have better chemistry with somebody else, but that doesn't play out in the game. They don't bring that to the rink.
Oh, well, you know that you're going to play the regular season
Yeah.
entirety without the guy who wears the responsibilities to, I mean, obviously you can be in the room, you can't be on the ice.
Right, so if you got a guy like, it all depends on the room you have, people that you have. And if you've got a really strong top-down hierarchy in your room, that leadership void is huge. But we are a lot more of a horizontal idea in there. We're not replacing the guy. And whether it's practice or certainly the games, but for us, the constant and consistent driving of pace that Barkey does, other people will have to do that. But he's done such a good job as a leader. You know, if you do a really good job, they shouldn't need you if you've done that right. And he's done a really great job being himself, setting a standard. The challenge would be picking a replacement for him. The smallest part of that is you can't replace Barkey. The bigger problem was if you're going to create a hierarchy where you haven't had one, you're missing the strength of your team. So I'll say that, you know, you've got Sam Reinhart doesn't wear an A. He could be the captain of this team. And that is true today as it was. And so we can talk about just about everybody else in that room after that. So when we say, you know, we're going to share that loss, we'll just share the loss, the captaincy, all of it straight across the board. And I think that part of it, I'm not as concerned about.
Or you can designate a game many. Don't you have to say something?
You have to put it on the electronic lineup sheet. It depends on who's in the lineup.
Have you had a chance to talk with Sasha since he got out of surgery?
We not since he got out. So he got out later in the, and he was 3 hours in recovery and probably all loaded up. So I usually don't like to talk to my players in that situation. So certainly when, forget it. I'll let that go. No, I won't. I'll leave because I know he's got 8,000 phone calls because I did on him. So he must get, yeah, I'll catch up with him. We texted each other before he was going in, just offer some prayers and wish him the best.
And one go with last year in playoffs, that their fourth line, which they have a room back after knows extra, but AJ Greer specifically, what did you learn about him last year and just what he was able to bring to the team when he got his opportunity, he was able to play a full season? What did he show you that?
Oh, so he's a guy that's capable of modifying his game, capable of learning. It is a very difficult thing, and all training camps have this. There's a section of guys. It's the National Hockey League. They all got good hands and they got skills, and they have played at another league or at another level in a completely different role. All of these guys put up points. They're all more skilled than everybody else on their team, right? And then they get here, and their role changes. And especially those guys who are in and out of lineups. They want to step out in the ice and show it to you. I was really good at this. Let me show it to you again. And the game doesn't allow for that. So they have to adjust. And that is true. So I'll give you, like we've got some really skilled young players out there. Yeah, now if I don't mention a guy's name, he's going to be heartbroken. But let's say I had, you know, Steve Goldstein was can right there, skilled guy. Then the first thing I need to do is I need Steve to know I appreciate his talent, but most of those plays aren't going to work here. Reinhart doesn't try them. You got to get that out of your game. And Reinhart scored 57. He's a unicorn because he's up for a Selke Award too. But there's a big chunk of your offense we don't want to see because it just doesn't relate to the National Hockey League game. So AJ Greer, I thought, in February or March of last year, really picked up on that. And then, God, he made Gadge better and Nose better, all three of them, and they fed off each other, and they just had a style of game. So you get guys that'll come back then, and they're in their contract year, and they've had an incredible year, right? Lots of confidence. So the challenge there is getting them to do more of that more often, but not more. But he showed a great ability to do that.
Tyler, we see him out there right now
Yeah.
working. What's the plan for him?
So he's going to probably today and tomorrow, and then come back into full practice on Monday. And then we'll just see where he's at with it. We got lots of guys here. Training camp's not the place that we push injuries. But he's a fit man. He's had good numbers when he came in, so we're just going to wait till he's 100%, and then we're going to see what's left of time for him to make an impression. It's going to be tougher for all players because we've structured it so our veteran guys get the last two. From there.
You need to see a guy like that, a body of work, but
Yeah.
you need to see him in what you want.
I would say I'd like to, but I don't need to. You have 450 odd games. I got a real good handle on him, and if I needed more, I'd just go watch more video of him. We made the assessment that he could adapt to our game before we brought him here.
When it comes to the guys in the powder blue, the younger guys,
Yeah.
rotating in and out, you know, Samson there the other day, Jack
Yeah.
today. For those guys, are you looking more at where they're at now or maybe the potential, just given their age or whatever?
No, I just want them exposed to this. Because when you split group, as we've done in the past, they get half an idea. They don't get 4 lines of it. And then they need to come out and go, okay, that's what he's talking about. Is that fast? I just want them exposed to it. Because you're going to get young guys that come in these exhibition games, and you'll see it around, and they'll light it up. They'll bang in 3 or 4, or you see some of those kind of 4th line guys going, and they think, come right there. And it's an exhibition game. Top end guys in the league got it in 2nd gear, right? And then it's all over the ice. There's not a lot of structure and system, so they don't get a real idea. The steroidal version of that would be what happens to a guy who plays the full year and then he gets into playoffs. It's all that kind of next step up. You don't understand it until you go through it. So I want those guys on the ice, and we have moved people out. We had Mike Benning up, and we had Toby in there, and obviously Toby knows what it's like, but I want as many of those guys, we can't keep all of them, a little bit of exposure to more of a National League practice.
I know perceptions do not matter to you guys, but there's going to be the perception that without Barton, there's no way this team can do it again. Can that be turned into a little bit of extra fuel for this team, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously losing Barkey is a huge loss, and there's no way to replace him, and we know that. But at the end of the day, it might just make our games a little bit more of a grind, and that'll be fun, something to rally around. It'll be great to see him once we get him back in the rink, and we're all looking forward to that moment to lift our spirits and see him again.
I was just saying too that there's a lot of leaders in the league. Only one never is to see, but there's a lot of guys in the room that can really help. I would imagine you see it the same way, that the room is built to absorb this as well as you possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it, like I wear an A, but you could throw it on Benny, Forsey, Marshy, Rhino, go down the lineup, Bob. We all absorb it for sure. Again, there is no replacing him, and we know that, but there's a sense of community in that room, and we're all going to chip away at it together.
Have you had a chance to talk with Barkley in the last couple of days since everything happened?
I haven't bothered him post-surgery. Before the surgery, is sent him a text and wished him the best.
And like you said, chip away, is that the way you have to look at it? Because yesterday Paul said, nobody can fill Barkov's skates, but we can all work towards doing it together. Does that kind of have to be the way you guys look at it, that we can all do something a little bit to make up for it?
Yeah. Well, there's no easy games in this league, and then losing Barkov makes it that much harder, and that's something we're going to have to embody is a day-by-day mindset, almost like the playoffs. Come in every day, do a job, and do it together, and try our best to fill those shoes.
Heck, we're gonna out there on the ice, the decor, a couple days campaign early. What excites you the most about the decor this year? Obviously, returning the top 4, and then whether it's Cooley and Petrie, it's 2,000 combined games, and Ubers played a ton for you last year. What excites you heading into this year about the core?
Yeah, it's always exciting. We love our decor. We love our top-down D. Like, it's just great. The style that we play, the suffocating and aggressive style that we play is fun, and it's fun to show new guys like Petrie how we like things done, and get him, started on the right foot, showing what he can do. So, and he's doing it really well. He's got such good length, like all of us do. Skates extremely well, so he's going to fit right in. Yeah, I love our D. It's awesome.
On that, I mean, he's building a lot from you guys, the system, obviously championship caliber, but what can you pick up from a guy like him that's got almost 1,000 games in this league coming in?
Oh yeah, you learn something new every single day, watching guys play. So yeah, I mean, experience is everything, I think, in this league, and he's probably going to show us some things during the year that we're able to put into our game for sure.
The room obviously has a ton of leaders, guys like yourself who want to see, like, you don't replace guys, but if there's a room that's built, you can't have a loss of a guy who leads the league, because it seems like this is that sort of.
Yeah, you can't replace Barkey. He does so many different things on and off the ice. But like one of the things that I was really, really impressed about was that when you came in, you didn't feel like one guy led the way. You felt like everyone was very dialed in to what they had to do to buying into the group. They did everything as a unit, and that is very special. You don't see that often where a group is one. You know, you normally have like one or two guys that kind of lead the way and other guys that follow, and guys that are kind of coming up and trying to lead and want to lead. And then you have a bunch of guys that follow, and that's complete opposite of this group. And Barkey, when you see him, he just has an aura about him. The way that he takes care of himself and he prepares, and the way he does lead on the ice in practice and stuff like that. So yeah, it's going to be hard to play. He's the best two-way player in the game. You're not going to be able to replace that guy. But yeah, collectively as a group, I mean, you just try to all pick up a little piece of that and try a little bit harder. Try to fill in where you can. And hopefully as a group you can kind of come together. And it's also, the adversity is good for the group. Obviously you never want to see a guy go down. But we have multiple guys that have gone down this year and have created holes, and it creates opportunities for other guys. Other guys get to play more. They get to step into a role they haven't had before, and other guys get a look that maybe they wouldn't have had. So it's where opportunities created. 99% of guys, that's how they get in this league, is somebody gets hurt and you get an opportunity, and you got to try to seize a spot. So yeah, that's how it works.
You know that line's coming at some point, that without Barkley, there's no way this team can do it again. Does that, in a weird way, be extra fuel for this group?
I don't think this group needs fuel. We know what we are. We know what our goals are and what we're looking at doing this year. Looking down the road at winning the Stanley Cup is the last thing you want to do right now. There's such a long road before that, and there's so many different things that you need to overcome, and adversity that comes. There's a foundation that needs to be built. The headlines can come out all they want about what we can and what we can't do. 9 months from now, there's 9 months that we need to deal with before that.
You touched on just how many different leaders you guys have in the room, and how do you have guys who can't tell? Have you been part of a team where, I think Paul used the phrase, where the leadership's sort of horizontal, where it's like there's no real, far across the sea, there's no real pecking order? Have you ever been on a team that sort of had that many guys in the room who can?
Yeah.
Can't step up when it's their time?
I have been part of a team. We've had a couple teams in Boston like that. It doesn't happen often, but every now and again there's a team where you have a lot of older guys, a lot of guys that have been around, a lot of guys that are really self-focused, self-aware about what they need to do to prepare to be at their best. And then you have a team buy-in, a complete buy-in in the group. And when you have that, it's, you can have guys go down and still have success, because there's not one player that you rely on. There's a group game, a team game that's in place that allows you to have success. It doesn't matter who's in or out. And you see that with really good teams, are able to find a way to win when guys go down. Obviously it's unfortunate that we lost our best player and our best leader, but again, that just creates opportunity for someone else to be big, someone else to fill into a hole that maybe they didn't think they were needed for a while because Barkey was there. But it gives an opportunity for other guys to step up and have a voice and lead in different ways. And incredible things can happen in moments like that. Guys can shine in a way that maybe people didn't think was possible, and they just needed that opportunity. So there's a lot of talk about this being a bad situation, and it is, but a lot of good can come from a bad situation and a lot of really good opportunity, and that's what we expect from guys in our room is to step up and be big in big moments.
Obviously, like I said, it takes everyone has to step up, but for Lundy, moves up a little bit in the depth chart. He's played with him obviously a ton last year, and he's seen these matchups, and teams would take guys off Park, they put them on your line, and you guys obviously did a great job there. How excited do you see a young player like Lundy, obviously you have a ton of experience, but still you have guys like him kind of step up into a bigger role?
Yeah, he's a great example. He's a top 2-line center on any team in this league, and he's been kind of stuck in the third hole because of the depth in this group. But you talk about opportunity and guys having the opportunity to play more and have a bigger role. Well, he's a great example of that. He's almost a bit like a little Barky. He very responsible two-way, extremely skilled, very good around the net. So he has all the attributes to be a great player in this league, and he can handle the minutes, he can handle the ice time, he can handle the matchups. And he showed that on the biggest stage multiple years here. So, again, when top guys go down, other guys that have maybe been held back a little bit, Samo is going to be another guy that's going to get a great opportunity with Chucky being down. And, he looks unbelievable out there right now, and same with Boki. So, some of these guys that when you have a really deep team, maybe they're held back in a position that allows our team to have success, because it gives us that depth, but they're ready and they're built for more. And these are the opportunities where you get in, and I have no question that these guys are going to succeed.
Speaking of opportunity, it's an opportunity for so many guys, so many different spots, so many guys moving around. One guy I came here, Jack Stanika, you play with in Boston a bit. He's hoping to get back to some regular show games. He said you texted him after he signed. How excited are you to kind of reunite with him here a little bit? And what you saw him as a very young player, kind of what excites you about his game?
Yeah, I've known Studs for a while. I really like Studs. He's a great kid. And I've seen him really kind of grow and mature. His first year in camp, I thought he was going to make the team at 18, 19 years old. He was incredible. His speed and just how his touch around the net is really impressive. And now he's had a couple of years there where he's had some injuries and stuff, but he looks great out there right now. He's flying around. And sometimes those are the guys that you just need that break, and these are the things that happen that get that. But, he works extremely hard in the gym, off the ice. He's really dedicated right now to doing all the right things. And I haven't seen him for a couple of years, but he's grown a lot in his maturity and in his game, in his details off the ice, the way he prepares. So I've been impressed watching him so far in camp, and I hope he does well. I hope he succeeds, and I'd love to see him on this team, just because I have seen him grow from an immature kid and doing all this, these silly moves on the ice that would bother me, and now he's got that hard direct game, and he's shooting pucks, and he's driving to hard areas. So I like what he's done.
Brad, like Tim mentioned, similar to Barkov, you have one to see. You and I talked a little bit last year about how similar to Matthew Tkachuk, you have an emotional feel for the game.
Mm-hmm.
With those two guys, obviously not available to start the season, do you feel like maybe those are some of the parts of your individual skill set that will be a little bit more amplified at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, I think I can be one of those vocal guys. Barky's not overly vocal, but he leads off the ice. I think we have a lot of guys that can help in that regard, just by their work ethic on the ice, in the gym. Things where Barky really leads. The vocal stuff is Chucky's very, very big, so that's a big loss there. I think that's definitely an area I can help with. I talk too much at times, and I'm sure guys are going to get sick of me, and really looking forward to Chucky getting back. But there's definitely some areas there that I feel like I can pick up a little bit of the slack and help out. And even with Smitty being gone, he's another guy that talked a lot. He brought a lot of guys together, created a lot of energy in the room. So that's another guy that hasn't been talked a lot about. missing in that area, but he will be a loss as well there.